What is going on, guys? It is your boy, Player X, here with the Semi Limited Podcast, and you are strapped in for another installment of the best TCG podcast this side of the Mississippi, or on the other side of the Mississippi. Whatever side of the Mississippi you're on, best be tuning in, all right? Because you guys know what the deal is over here. And I know we weren't here for another week or so. I've been starting a new job, getting my life back in order and stuff like that. We had a lot of things going on, but we're going to be brushing up on it when we don't come back for a week. It means we're going to be talking about that much more the week after. So on today's session, we'll be touching up on the winners of the NAWCQ and the winner of the EUWCQ. For those who don't know, that's basically just fancy talk for nationals, for our American nationals and then the European national circuit. And then we'll also be talking about the release of the next and probably only hit set that Konami's going to have in Justice Hunters this year, because nothing else is even going to come close to what this is. And then some of the wacky rules, or I would say changes, that Konami has been, I don't even think making, because they're not even sticking, but I guess seeming to want to implement for the player base. So we're going to get into all of that. But before we do, as usual, we already know that we got to get these sponsored plugins out the way. So please be sure to go down to the Linktree link in the description box below and follow all of our social sites. You can click that button, the tab pops up, and literally all of our sites are there. You just got to click and then hit follow on whichever one you want. We're still getting ready to do these giveaways. We have giveaways to give away at 50 followers on TikTok, 100 on X or Twitter, 200 on IG and Discord, and then 500 on YouTube. It's the next accolade we're trying to hit. So be sure to share, comment, whatever it is that you got to do to get these episodes out to your friends, your buddies, your duelists, your locals, whoever. It doesn't matter. Just be sure to communicate, start a conversation, start some topics, start some discussions with your friends by sharing this video and letting them hear it on what we're talking about. Also, shout outs to Unplugged Gaming in Manlius, New York for sponsoring the podcast. Be sure to join their Discord server in the description box below to be a part of their TCG communities, no matter what it is. If it's on cardboard and you're playing it in squares, they will have it for you, whether it's One Piece, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Lorcana, Pokemon, Digimon, the new Gundam that just came out that some people have been clamoring for. Shout outs to Josh Rock and Austin for basically turning our locals into that now. Whatever it is you guys want or need, they will be sure to have it for you. So go join their communities online in their Discord. And then if you do pop in person, just always be sure to tell them that the boys over at Semi Limited Podcast sent you, and they'll definitely be sure to hook you up or give you some free items or whatever it is that they're going to make sure that you're all nice and warm and content, because we all mess with each other. It's a big old happy family out here. Also, this episode of the podcast is brought to you by EnergyDrinkCity, because topping locals on 3 hours of sleep in a granola bar just ain't going to cut it these days anymore. But you can use promo code PlayerX, that's PLAYERX, for 10% off your purchase at EnergyDrinkCity.com to get your favorite boost of liquid energy, not only delivered right to your front doorstep, but basically built for you, by you, as your own personal energy drink crate. So you can build it almost like how you build your side deck. All gas and no bricks, So once again, be sure to use player code PlayerX for 10% off your order down there. And then be sure to catch Brad, lastly, aka Mr. Perfect, live streaming on Twitch every Saturday night live at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. His Twitch will also be in that link tree down below. We've been doing things as far as master dueling. He's been practicing for the OTS championships that we have coming in a couple weeks. So you'll be catching them on EDO Pro. You'll be catching them on Omega, on Dueling Book, whatever you guys want him to do that day. He will do it for you guys. Just be sure to communicate with him and let him know. And then also, before we start into the episode, we have to introduce our guest for tonight. I love having this duelist on the pod because of his silky smooth voice and his intriguing thoughts and perspective on basically not only things Yu-Gi-Oh, but things in life as well. He's a very good friend of mine. So let's give a nice, warm, semi-limited welcome back, I should say, to Mel Debatis from Heart of the Podcast.
Hey y'all, thanks X for having me back on. I always love being on here. I always love working with you.
Man, we love having you too, dog. Like I said, you guys hear that silky smoothness? Isn't that just gonna like ease you back? You know what I'm saying? So before we start, let's give our guest a chance to introduce himself, give any shout outs or plugins or anything like that they want to say before we start digging in.
I think that the only the shout outs are to you for bringing me back on. We've said it over and over again. Heart of the Podcast. We actually going back and listening back to a couple of episodes, and man, I really want to get back into it. So I got to push that with the boys. But It's always good to be on here, and I really appreciate you having me on to talk about all of the wackiness of Konami and the high highs of like the WCQ seasons and worlds coming up, and the confusing lows of rule changes for no reason.
Yeah, man, there is a lot that Konami's been throwing at us. I mean, a lot of it is just good because we make it good, but a lot of it's just bad.
Right?
It's
Yeah,
just
it's
so bad.
bizarre.
So
Yeah.
before we get into like anything is so how you been? You been good? Is there anything new going on with you before we start that
Yeah,
you want to like talk about or anything like that?
For sure. So, for those who don't know, my full-time job is I'm a teacher, so I'm off for the summer, and my wife and I just got back from Japan about a week ago. So we were there for two
Hey
weeks,
yo.
and it was a wild ride. Very different country, very different space. But one of the things that and part of the reason why I wanted to come back on is to talk about like how Japan treats our beloved card game and card games in general so different compared to the States. So like I live in New York City. X lives in upstate New York, and between us, there's like maybe 6 or 7 card shops total. New York State has like maybe 10 or 12, but in New York City proper, there's like six uh, within the boroughs, and they're not like the easiest to get around to. When I tell you,
Yeah,
I
true.
was in Kyoto, Osaka, and Tokyo. Each of those major cities had 20 to 30 card shops within a 3 block radius. It was, like, wild. I could
Get
walk
out of here. That's
downstairs from a building.
crazy.
It was insane. I could walk downstairs, and I did, in fact, walk down I visited 12 different card shops when I was there. Uh, got a couple gifts for people, the display cases were amazing.
I'm
They
assuming mine's
all
in the mail.
Yes, exactly. Um, all of those spaces had these, like, incredible, like, displays, and the card selection was amazing. It was just and all of them had spaces to play, and I was like, "Damn, like, this is how Japan treats the card game that we love." Like,
Was it
even
like
though Go ahead.
was it like an official like Konami display? Like was it like Konami was like clearly funding this or like contributing in some way, or are the card shops just naturally inclined to just display these cards and like their products like this?
A little bit of both. I saw a couple shops that were, like, clearly Japan's version of OTS shops, with the displays and, like, the banners and everything, but a lot of them were just, like, they had these huge displays of like they had like championship cards, they had like world championship trophies, like each and all of the shops had at least 3 or 4 different like world championship prize cards, just behind glass. A couple of the spaces had like they could only open the glass for 10 minutes, because there were some like very expensive
I'm about to say
cards
it's
in
probably
them.
that. Yeah, that's
Oh,
that's
yeah,
kind
yeah.
of that's kind of crazy if
And,
you think
like,
about it.
they had, associates, like, stand by you when you open those cases, and you'd be like, "Hey, can I see this?" And they're like, "Yep," and they had, like, gloves on and would take them out to show you, if you wanted to look at them.
I
I
do
didn't
know
I
they get that crazy. That's a real thing. The gloves
Oh,
on when you take out
yep.
a card, that's a
Oh,
real
yeah.
thing.
It was very much as a Porzy, would not even go near
As a
those. I was like, "This is
Porzy,
not for me."
yeah,
Um
the brokies over there were just
The
looking from the
broke
back.
Yeah, I was just, like, looking at it, but, like, to see the level of, like, intention for Yu-Gi-Oh! Which I won't let's not beat around the bush here. Yu-Gi-Oh! Is not Japan's, like, biggest card game. It's like Pokemon is their
Yeah.
huge one, and the way that but even being, like, 2nd or even 3rd fiddle, because there was a lot of, like, One Piece, and then there's some, like, wild fucking card games that I was like I walked in there with my wife, and she was like, "I know that this is not the card game you're looking at," and I was like, "I know, I don't know what this fucking thing is. It's like hentai on a card." I was like, "What the fuck?"
All right, yeah, we
But
gotta
just
get that
to
for
see
George.
Yeah, exactly, for Joseph. Joseph probably would like, if I had sent
Oh yeah,
pictures, he'd be
Dweeby
like, "Oh, I
Joe.
need to get this." But I was just, like, blown away, like, Konami Japan treats their card games, that's, like, the primary hobby for a lot of people, it seems like, so, just, like, to be in a space that had, like, so many different card shops with such a wide selection of cards was I've never seen anything like it, and like I said, being in New York City, like, we have a lot of different spaces, but, like, nothing compared to those, like, one shop in that space had, like, more cards than I've seen in any shop have.
Yeah, you'll actually be lucky if you even find OTSs in the States and in NA
Right.
that even have a case of selling. I know you care about Yu-Gi-Oh when you sell Yu-Gi-Oh singles. And if you
Yeah,
don't sell
exactly.
singles, I know that it's just like, all right, cool. It's just a card game that these people come
Yep.
out for, you know?
And
And
their cases were, like, 8 feet tall, like, floor to not necessarily floor to ceiling, but, like, 8 feet of like top to bottom, there's cards in there. And like you had to like some of them were like you had to look really closely to see. And it wasn't even just like only like holofoil. They were clearly like, this is where we want you to go if you want to play the game. We have a bunch of cards available, commons to, high rarity stuff. And their rarities are beautiful, like, and they're cheap. And I was just like, this is insane. Like, and seeing the Lost Arts in person was amazing, like, uh, he'll get it tomorrow, but I got George one of the, like, drunk Baguska arts, and to
Oh,
see it on
awesome.
an
Yeah, yeah.
actual
Those
card was,
ones are
like,
crazy.
those
Yeah,
yeah, they're so cool, and, like, I obviously got Joseph a titty-faced one because that's what he wanted,
of course.
but that's just it was, like, cool to see, like, the original versions of a lot of these cards,
Did they
and
have
they
the Thickums Neos
Yep,
for
yep, they
Nick?
had that one.
Did the
I
Thickums,
got him that, I got
the
him
Thick
all the
Boy?
alternate arts that I could find for the hero stuff. But they also had, like, the old school, like, setup of the cards where, like, it was a lot of the vanilla monsters, but, like, that card frame that didn't have room for text,
Mhm.
those were like, they had a display case for all those. I got one of those for Serpent Knight Dragon and Trihorn Dragon because those are my favorites,
Oh,
but I
those
was
are
like
cool. Those are cool. Yeah,
just to see
especially
that in
vanillas.
person.
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah, just to see that was, like, a really cool experience, and I think that if people do have a chance to like visit Japan or do go there for work or something like that, do yourself a favor and go to one of the card shops and see like this is what we could have. This is what it could look like.
And I'm
Because it
assuming they
was
weren't
fun.
crazy expensive, were they?
No, like, the high end stuff, like, I think I saw, an OG, like, Blue Eyes White Dragon, like, structured at Kaiba or, like, the dual, the Game Boy
Dark
Color
Beginnings or
one.
whatever?
Yeah,
Oh,
Dark
okay.
Beginnings or whatever it was.
DDS, yeah.
That was, like, 1,000,000 yen, but otherwise, like, I think I got Nick, like, 7 hero cards for, like, less than $5, and they were,
I was
like,
about to say,
high
did you wanna,
rare they were all, like,
you
secret rares.
did you know, do you know right now the conversion rate for $1 into how many yen? So that
It's
way
like
the listeners can
150
know.
yen is $1. The yen is down right now, which, that was part of the reason why we went, but, it was I think it's like 150 yen to $1, so, that
Okay.
made it very easy to also and the staff are so incredibly friendly, like, first, I do not speak Japanese, Google Translate was our best friend and some very key phrases, but, like, you can tell that they've interacted with a lot of tourists who engage with the card game because they're like, give us like I think one of them did a translator and they're like, give me a list or write it down and walk me over there and I'll get it for you. And that was also like a cool experience to be with people who are like, we know what you're looking for. Like one, I couldn't remember the name of like a white forest card, and he was like, he listed off the ones, and I was like, oh, it's that one. He was like, okay, and then he got it. It was just like really cool to experience, like people that know what they're talking about with these card games.
Yeah, it's different when you're amongst your own people who really
Exactly.
get it, like,
Yeah,
really in there, you know?
it was really nice.
So, I
Yeah,
appreciate that story that you sharing that with us. Like,
for sure.
that seems really cool, and,
Yeah,
it seems like the boys back home are really gonna enjoy the gifts that you brought back.
yeah, for sure, for sure.
But all right, now with that out the way, we're over here, getting into
Mhm.
the real goo and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So let's dig into today's episode, and we're going to start off with the WCQs that have taken place over the last few weeks. Kicking it off with the NAWCQ. So for those who don't know, that is the North American World Championship qualifiers. So it's your qualifications for Worlds, which basically makes it our version of a national. Some people hate when others call it nationals because it's the WCQ or whatever, but that's basically the biggest comparison. So our nationals this year was super big. I'm pretty sure we had it was either 2,800 or it was like 2,798 or something like that. But it was just about 2,800 duels participating. And we did watch it all go down from Q. So I had a watch party for most of us who couldn't make the travels out there to Indianapolis, just because, of financial reasons or family reasons, whatever it may be. So we just wanted to make sure that we at least could show our support for those who did go out there. So shout outs to Eric Christensen, Ryan App, Jay Curtis, and Matt Pelletier, who went out there and showcased what they had. I think Jake Curtis day two'd. Yeah, yeah,
My
he
boy
day
Jake.
two'd, and
Yeah, fuck
yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. He's actually had a quite good a good season. He's been doing
Good
quite
for
well today.
him. I love
Or
Jake.
this season, yeah. He's earned it too. Apparently, his journey has been quite a fruitful one. Because
Mhm.
I hear from the better players all the time how Jake used to be a nobody. He used to be donations. At
Everyone's gotta start somewhere.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. So, um, but so they he did the best out of everyone. We were still happy. He got one of those cool little prize packs.
Fuck yeah.
For I think he just sold it sealed. I don't think he opened it.
Sure.
If I'm not mistaken, but don't quote me on that. But we it was a crazy experience for all of them. They had a whole bunch of fun. We watched it all from here, and we just saw everything in the room this year. Not just from top decks that you expect, but like a whole bunch of rogue and just I don't even want to put rogue because maybe they're just better than rogue, but they just were good meta calls. I'll put it. And if you look at the top 64 breakdown, you'll see what I'm talking about. So let's take a look
Mhm.
at the top breakdown for the NAWCQ. Starting with 64, we had 18 Mitsurugi, 13 which of those were Raizio, 6 of them were Fiendsmith, and then one Agdoatic. So one AJ out there. Good job.
Mhm.
17 Malice, sorry, 18 Malice, 17 of them were Agnister, and one of them was Mitsurugi. So Mitsurugi Malice made it to top cut as well.
Mhm.
We then had 7 Vanquished Souls, 4 Orcus, 3 of them being Mitsurugi, and 1 Fiendsmith, which was eventually going to be our winner. We have
Right.
3 Ryziel variants. 2 of them were Onomatopoeia, or Gogagos, for those who don't know that, and then one of them was Pure. We have 3 Gem Knights, 2 Memento, 2 Atlantean Mermail, 2 Primi Blue Eyes, 1 Lunalite, 1 Evil Twin Fiendsmith, 1 Punk Fiendsmith, one Goblin Biker Fiendsmith, and one Azamina White Forest. So as you can see, Fiendsmith is fucking everywhere in this shit.
Mhm.
Taking
Mhm.
that over to the top 32, we are then brought to 12 Adignisters, one of them being the Mitsurugi one. We have 8 Mitsurugi with 7 of them being Ryziel. And then we have 2 Vanquished Soul, 2 Primite, the 2 Ryziel, 1 being Anamat, so one of them was knocked out. The Orcus Fiendsmith, so all other Orcus was knocked out in 64 as well. Evil Twins, Fiendsmith, Punk Fiendsmith, Azamina, Gem Knight, and 1 Luna Light, which was I still think that the Gem Knight, Azamina, and the Luna Light still hanging in there is crazy to me, but
Mhm.
they're also going into the top 16. Top 16 going with 6 Mitsurugi now, 5 of them being the Ryziel variants, 5 Malice. All of them seem to be the Adagnister ones. So the Mitsurugi one was knocked out in the 32.
Mhm.
We have the 1 Ryziel Anamat. So the Pure and the other Anamat was knocked out. Now we have 1 Fiendsmith Ryziel, which or sorry, 1 Fiendsmith Orcus, which basically had a Bestial package in it too. 1 Gem Knight, 1 Primi Blue Eyes, 1 Vanquished Souls. Then going into top 8, we had 2 Mitsurugi, 1 being Ryziel and 1 being the Fiendsmith, 2 Malice, 1 Ryziel Anamat, so away from the Mitsurugi build, the Orcus player, the Gem Knight player, and the Vanquish Soul player. So RIP the Lunalite player, RIP the Blue Eyes player. They definitely took the falls
Yeah.
right there. And then we have top 4 being the 2 Malice players, the Gem Knight, and then the Orcus. Gem Knight making top 4 is still crazy to me.
Still crazy.
With everyone knowing that the final is going into a um, Malice versus Fiendsmith Orcus, and Wilfred just did his damn thing and he won it
We
all. It
sure
was the
did.
Orcus Fiendsmith Bestial that won, and he took it in a really fashionable manner too. It was
Yeah.
very very cool to watch that all go down. Were you all able to watch it yourself, or did you guys happen to miss it?
So this was when were in like at the time we were at
Japan, yeah,
when
exactly.
we were still flying when it started. So I
Oof,
wasn't able to catch most of it. And because of the time difference, I would catch the YouTubes towards the end, like when I was going to bed, it's when they kind of started. So I was
yeah.
able to catch some of the matches, but I didn't get to watch it live. But this was a wild ride.
No, no, it was fun. We were watching it start to finish. People started coming in around like round 2 or 3, and
Hmm.
then they stuck around all the way to the end. Like I'm pretty sure Chris and Dylan, shouts to them, stayed all the way up until the end just because it was that exciting. We were having fun watching,
Hmm.
even
Hmm.
watching the non-meta decks. I know they tried not to put meta decks on for the
Right.
first 3 or 4 rounds, but even like the Mermo player, watching the Lunalite players go, like it
Oh
was
yeah.
it was very entertaining. It was very good to see. Like um it's crazy when you think about like the numbers this year though compared to last year. Like the sheer determination to want to do well with something that's not meta was super strong, I think, this
Oh
season.
yeah.
Like you can see that even like I said, the Gem Knight still shocking to see.
Oh
And
yeah. Yeah.
then to see the winner just waltzing in with Orcus, taking it all is just crazy to me. I mean, I don't know what you thought about all that. Like that top cut is a super diverse. It's definitely not
Oh
just
yeah.
1 or 2 decks in there.
Yeah, it's like, Malice and Mitsurugi are really kind of the top. They're the most represented, which I imagine a lot of the like reason that we kept especially like the top 64 to top 32 drop off of Mitsurugi was probably how many of them paired against each other and kind of knocked each other out. But I love formats like this. I love seeing this diversity because it's like it isn't just like seeing so many different decks. It's so many different play styles, and you kind of have to, in a way, pick your poison. But it's also like this is where we really learn who can deck build and who can prepare because like, you've got Lunalight, which their big thing is a towers, but it's a Regeki special summon towers. So it's like, how do you deal with a monster that conventionally you can't deal with? Mermel is a bit has kind of they've shifted their play style to be more interactive with their opponent and do a lot more like uh, focusing on what they can do on your both players' turns. Seeing Gem Knight get as far as it did, like a basically blind second deck that's like, we're gonna OTK you through all of this. Like, you give me Fulos and Prulia, I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna keep like, I dare you to try and stop this. Like, showcasing that.
Yeah,
Vanquish Soul surprising everybody over the past couple weeks and being like, we don't need K9, we can do this on our own. Um,
that was pretty shocking too. Yep.
but like just the amount of like different and like seeing that Fiendsmith and Mitsurugi are not like the only things that can really push a deck forward. Like, you know, I just love seeing the different styles that we have and the different ways that people have to interact and the amount of cards you have to know what they do or at least be able to read on the spot and recognize. Like, I'm pretty sure during the final, like, I imagine the Orcus player had so many people reading his cards, and like that automatically gives you an advantage because you're spending, what your cards do, and because you're
Hmm.
playing against a lot of like Malice and Mitsurugi, you know what they do because you've played against them so much. But people reading your cards even into the finals is like, you have an natural advantage because people are spending time and they're not sure what you're going to do or what can come out of that.
Yeah,
Um,
reading and misplaying
yeah,
to
absolutely.
after have read it. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Yeah. Like
After having read it.
the classic like Yu-Gi-Oh player, like, let me pick this up, pretend I read it, put it down, and then what does that do again?
Let me
Let me
skim
pick it up
4
again.
words
Yes.
and assume the rest.
Um, that's not my favorite phrase is that's not once per turn, especially in like the Lunalight deck and decks that utilize the older cards. It's like I
Yeah.
love seeing people like realize like, oh, Yu-Gi-Oh did used to print cards that weren't once per turn because who's summoning these things multiple times?
Yeah,
And
who thought I'd get
I
this
love
fast?
seeing that. Right. It's
And not
so
only that,
I love that.
but the reaction also was like I think the best winning reaction I legit ever seen.
Oh
Like I've
yeah.
seen a whole bunch of aura farming and shit like that, but the signature on the camera lens
That
straight
is
after
oh
was
yeah.
aura farming at its finest.
That
That
is
was
Yeah.
crazy.
That is the Yu-Gi-Oh version of I'm going to Disney World. Like, going to
Yeah,
fucking
literally.
sign that camera, and, like, I heard rumors that, like, someone told him like, he checked with Konami first to make sure it was okay, but I guess they didn't tell Billy Break, so he was like, "No, you can't do that," and then
Yeah,
someone like,
correct,
he did
correct.
ask,
Yes,
like
it was the cameraman who told him. I actually one of the winner or Wilfred, one of his friends, I met at a regional out here at New York, and I follow
yeah.
him on Instagram. We're really pretty cool, and
Mhm.
he is good friends with Wilfred. So like, he was at the hotel that they were at. They all, he was part of their clique. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So
Mhm.
when he was the one telling us and letting us know that, like, yeah, the Konami cameraman told him whoever, or they actually told them both, but whoever wins, he's going to have a marker ready for someone to sign the lens. Apparently, they had put a clear lens on top that they were shooting through. And it
That
wasn't
is
the
so cool.
actual $4,000 camera lens.
No, of course.
But yeah, but still, it was so much so the funniest skit that,
Yeah.
or sorry, the funniest incident that we actually made a comedy skit about it, which is now
Hilarious.
live on our Facebook page,
So
TikTok,
fucking funny.
IG, and YouTube Shorts. I don't know if you saw that,
I
but
did,
it's
I
like the
saw that.
POV. Yeah,
Yep.
it's POV when your opponent wins Nats and just goes sign crazy. Because like
Yep.
as soon as it happened, we were sitting here at the watch party and we were like, "Yo, I cannot believe he just did that." But
Yep.
like, what if he just didn't stop? Like, what if he
Just
signed the
kept
camera?
signing. Yep,
What if he
yep.
went and signed his opponent's deck? He signed like the Konami judge's forehead. You know what I'm saying? What if he just went crazy? I just think that that was just a funny
Signed the
concept.
baby's
Uh,
forehead and shit like
yeah,
that.
yeah. That one was that. We kind of did exaggerate it a little bit,
Of course,
and
of
we had
course.
to include Maddie. So shout outs to Mookie too. That was my wife. She puts
For
up with a
sure.
lot of our bullshit, and for me to have someone or a female so short notice, and her to be like, "All right, I guess I'll do it." It definitely, she stepped up to the plate, and it was funny. She definitely did the job. But
Listen,
what were
shout
your
outs to our
thoughts?
shout
Oh,
outs to
sorry.
our
Yeah, I'm
partners for
sorry. Yeah.
putting up with our shit.
Yeah, literally. Yeah. Shout outs to Maddie. Shout outs to Mel. Just because, yeah, we definitely be putting these women through
Oh
some
yeah.
shit, and and I accept it. I know what it is, and it makes the ride more wild. But
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, to say it's not a wild ride is lying
Oh
to
yeah.
say the least. But what were your
Um,
thoughts on nationals this year? Because like for us, did we? I thought some sort of Orcus would top in some way, shape, or form. I didn't think it was going to win, if I'm being
right.
specific. But did things go as you expected? Were you shocked as everyone else that Orcus really took it down, or because it really wasn't like I don't want to say that the Orcus was the best deck, but you know it just came down to making the least amount of misplays,
Yeah.
and Wilfred happened to be that person.
That's I think what this I love nationals. I'm so happy that it went this way because I think what it showed is like the deck does not win, it's the pilot. And I think Wilfred was the best pilot at the time. Like he knew exactly how to play. He knew when to hold him, when to fold him. Like he knew exactly what to do. I want to give a there was a I think it was I think MBT was talking about how they someone had done research and had like profiles of like all the players, and this one I don't remember the exact number. It was at least 50% of Top Cut was the people's like first big event or like first or second or like really not like there you didn't see a lot of like seasoned
Yeah,
professionals in Top
yeah,
Cut. And the way that he phrased it, I really appreciated where it was like gone kinda are the days of, like, pro players dominating, and now people are like, the general public has caught up. Like, people are like, "I can get just as good, and I can as long as I stay focused and I know what I'm doing and, play the best that I can, I ha ever it's anybody's game." Like, how long have we been waiting for Malice like, win an event? Like, the deck that was supposed to be tier 0 at one point
since
still has not
conception, but
won
who's counting?
a Right, exactly. Like, it's just it was so interesting to see that, like, Malice and Mitsurugi, which are supposed to be clear top dogs, didn't even make it into, like in, versions didn't kind of make it into the top 4. Like, they made it top 8, which is still really good, but, like, they're also competing against Gem Knight, which those pilots had, like, a month to look at the cards and, like, really play with them, in
Yeah,
person. Like,
unless they were
Vanquish
looking at
Soul
the
came out,
OCG.
what, 2 weeks ago before this event?
Yeah,
And, like, that
they
was a
got high
deck.
suited up. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. Like, the Vanquish Soul kinda showing, like, 1 card, well, 2 cards because the field spell is crazy, but 1 really good card changes a deck and can really can really change it, and people not I imagine a lot of it had to also do with people didn't respect Vanquish Soul or Gem Knight or Orcust because they're too new, but also it's like they get better in the new set, so people are just gonna wait for that. Um,
I thought that as well. If I'm not
yeah, and I think that
lying.
right, no, and no one was gonna and everyone's like, "Why would I play Vanquish Soul when K-Knight Vanquish Soul is gonna be twice as good?" And people took advantage, and they're like, "Yo, Vanquish Soul can do a lot of shit." Like, they draw 7 cards, they put 6 monsters on the board, like, they have multiple different layered pieces of interaction. I'm really happy that, uh the Nationals went the way that it did, and I'm glad to see that, like, we have a lot of, like, a younger crop or a fresher crop of talent that are showing that, like, this game is not "dying," quote, unquote. How many different videos have we seen where people are like, "Yu-Gi-Oh's dying," L and over. It's not dying, it's just, like, this is the first big event that we've had that, like, had such diverse, like, representation of different decks, and people can play whatever they want at this point and really
Mhm.
win. Like, I still can't believe Gem Knights got as far as they did when their going first plan is make Protos.
Yeah, I
Like,
mean, it falls on some degenerate shit. Don't get me wrong.
yeah, but I'm like, a deck that is so clearly wants to go second got all the way to top 4 because people didn't know what the cards did and didn't respect it. Um, it makes me so happy to see that.
I
I
literally
also
was one
love
of them.
Yeah. Right, because like, who reads a Gem Knight card when they don't FTK? Like, their FTKs are not working, it's like, "Oh, this is what they were actually supposed to do, they were supposed to be able to board break and kill you," and they ran, like, good board breakers, but, like, they're also they can't run Dark Ruler, they can't run Evenly because they don't really have follow-up plays in a way, so it's like they had to do Droplet, Regeki, Storm, and hope that it was enough, and
Yeah,
for a lot of them, it was.
and it's crazy to think that like things like that actually make it on. Like, I,
Right.
I was super. I'm just shocked that like decks like Gem Knight were able to compete enough to even get into top cut, like Luna Light, like Mermail. I
Yes.
mean, Mermail is strong, but like as you said, like these decks were supposed to be the top dogs,
Yeah.
and I think that only a handful were even in the top 4, made it past top 4, like
Yeah.
semifinals. Like that's crazy. Only half of them were there, and it really did come down to a better pilot. I like how you put that. I think
Yeah.
that the average Yu-Gi-Oh player is leveling up. I actually watched a video. Shout outs to Yugioh. I watched one of his
Mhm.
videos real quick on the mentality of like competitive players versus like non-competitive players, and just like sometimes how toxic we
Mhm.
view or like can get as far as like tops or like placements and stuff like
Right.
that. But like as you said, like MBT doing the statistics showing that 50% of the people was their first event shows that like, yeah, that guy who maybe got 27th place at a regional still had what it took to make it
Yeah.
to the finals of nationals. You know what I'm saying? Like you got to stop counting that little guy out. Like, yeah, those invites, yeah, they may not be a top 8 to what like the old players are used to like quote unquote topping, but
Mhm.
you're not even just because you're not getting anything but an invite, you're not getting any like accessories or whatever, it doesn't mean that you still didn't earn something that day. You know, you
Right.
weren't a top cup material, you know? And
Yeah.
that just goes to show
Let's
like that's what it is.
Yeah, it reminds me a lot of, like, what you've talked about with Jake, like, he's a player that people used to
Absolutely.
be like, "Oh, he's a free win," and he kept learning, kept growing, and now he's day 2ing, nationals and, like, putting in the work to really get to be the best player that he can be without taking it as like, "Oh, maybe everybody's right." It's kinda like that imposter syndrome that a lot of players, I think, suffer from, where it's like you gotta move past that in a way, and you got to be around people that will help you move past that. And I think that's what we're seeing with a lot of these teams and communities. I think there are too many teams in Yu-Gi-Oh! Like I'm sick of seeing t-shirts and jerseys and shit like that. But I get the idea of like you surround yourself with a group of people that really want to get better at this game, and that'll help you get better as well.
Absolutely. And to say and to note on that, Jake actually day 2 top events. He day 2
Wow. Uh
Connecticut,
what
I think we went to.
yeah, yeah, YCS Connecticut. Mhm.
Yeah, yeah. He day 2 Connecticut on stream, and you know he got cooked. I'm cooked.
Yeah.
And then he also day 2 Nats, so he did very
Yeah.
well for himself.
Good, good.
And I think that Nationals, as you said, was great for us. Like the stream was fine.
Hmm.
It's
Hmm.
fine, not great, but fine.
Right.
But you know, going into the WCQs that we had for EU and the results we had over there for the past, I think that EU is far superior when it comes to actual streams.
Oh
I
yeah.
wasn't able to
Production quality
catch.
is insane.
Oh, it's so much better, so much better, super good. And I wasn't able to catch much as far as this one, or at least as thoroughly as we were for NA.
Right.
Since we had locals that weekend, we have a locals now on Saturday called Twisted Mayhem, and then we also have our Sunday locals, which we're all
Yeah.
still doing summer league in. So it's very very competitive. But I
Okay.
was able to get kind of like a round by round update from other duelists, and there were a lot of skillful players that were made. I was I really like how they have the interviews with certain players afterwards to kind of help
Yep.
explain why they're making those decisions, because I think that that's a cool concept. I always have questions on, even in the game, like in the moment when someone makes a play and you're like, why are they doing that? They could have done this and had a
Yep.
better play. And then like you see like 2 or 3 turns later, oh shit, he was thinking super big brain because he
Right.
saw shit that we didn't, and they're
5D
able to
chess.
explain that. It's so good.
Yeah, it's just European players, it's 5D chess. Like we're playing balls to the wall, like kill you this turn. They're like, I don't need to kill you right now. I'll kill you 4 turns later, and I'm gonna survive, and you'll burn all of your resources. And that it's the mentality of like the Joshua Schmitz, where it's like I
Mhm.
am thinking so far ahead that like not only do I know what your plays are, I know based on my interactions what your end board is going to look like, and that's what I know I have to deal with. And if you
And
don't make
sometimes
that
you're
end
even
board,
your hand.
right,
They can see what your
it's
hand
insane.
is.
Yep. It's like thinking about that. Like the only player that I think, I mean, there's a couple of them, but like I think about Pac, who like that YCS where the 3v3 where he just called that Hani had summon limit in his hand without
Yeah.
even, he's like, yeah, set summon limit. I don't care. And I was like, how do you just know that? Like the intuition that you have to do. And that's just your average European player as well. It's wild.
No, absolutely. And it's so much more well displayed
Yeah.
on the EU side. Like I just hate how fucking like why can't we be like that, man? It's just another reason why the EU streams are better than NA streams, man. And by
Yep.
a long shot, especially when it comes to like the presentation, the way that they
Yep.
fill in dead time, like everything, like the player interviews, like everything is so much
Yeah.
better over there, and like at least it looks like it. And like
Mhm.
although the EU Nets technically wasn't the same as the NA one, because for those who don't know, Battles of Legend was not technically legal for play in EU for their nationals, because since they had a recall and a delay of Battles of Legend, it wasn't going to be legal in time for them to have, this. I think it actually becomes legal in like another week or two
Mhm.
for them,
Mhm.
like, and that's past their nationals already. So they weren't able to use decks like Orcus, like Punk, like Gem Knight,
Yeah.
and so they couldn't even use those, and they weren't even be able to be played to their fullest potential. So it was making them come up short when players were deciding what to pick and prepare for competition with something that actually is tangible and not just some kind of pipe dream or hope and pray.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
do you think things would have went differently in EU? Would they, or should they have had that that set legal? You know what I'm saying? Or like,
Yeah, yeah.
would it have made a difference? Or you think that still would have been how it was? And for those who don't know, it's basically a Vanquish Soul mirror match for like
For a
most of
while.
the time. Yeah,
Yeah.
purposely for the most of the time.
I think, I don't give Konami a lot of shout outs because I don't like what they do as a company, but I will say it sucks that they had the delay, but I'm glad that they're like, because not everybody can access it without paying an arm and a leg, nobody would be able to. And I think that only could have happened in Europe. I think if it was in the States, Konami North America would have been like, "Fuck that. If you can't get it, sucks to be you. Like, you could figure it out."
Mhm.
You could pay $500 for Gem Knight, Master Diamond, shit like that. Like, I'm glad that they did that because it made it clear what you could and could not play. Um, I do think it would have looked a lot different. Like, Orcust and Gem Knight and Punk are the exact style that Europeans play, where they're like, wait, like, figure out, like, they're not necessarily like throw the hand trap at the first thing ever. They think about what the plays are ahead of time, and I think that those decks really blend into the European play style well. Like, it reminds me a lot of like Shield Runic, where it was like you
Mhm.
can't just like blow all of your negates and interactions immediately. You have to really think about it. And that's the same thing with Orcas. Like, you're not going to negate the first thing with Crescendo. You need to think about, like, you get this one Omni negate, your opponent might know it, might or might not know about it. You have to play it, pay attention. I think that the results would have been a lot different. I still think Vanquish Soul probably would have taken it because I think because the EU, WCQ was a little bit later, people figured out that, and especially based on the North American one, like, oh, Vanquish Soul can actually be played and is very strong.
Yeah.
It's a very difficult deck to pilot, but it is one that, like, if you know what you're doing, your opponent doesn't have a chance. And the
Yeah.
only
It
way that they
rewards
did
you.
have a chance is these mirror matches.
Absolutely. And you can see it too, because like all in all, at the end of the day, it was a very, very long 2 day slugfest for them. But
Yeah.
there was a clear cut best deck, and it like unlike how NA was, where it was kind of like, yo, who's gonna win? Like
Yeah.
anyone's got a chance. But its power definitely showed through countless times in the tournament, even making it to the mirror match finals for two players who battled it out for like the European Worlds. But Vanquish Soul won, period, and it was bound to win since I think like top four. I think there was like three Vanquish Souls and like whatever I was the Malice player or whatever it was.
Yeah. Yeah.
But like yeah, it was clearly Vanquish Soul going to go all the way. Yes, guys, Vanquish Soul even without the K9 package or the upcoming engine that's yet to release to us in Justice Hunters was holding it down for the entirety of the weekend. Borger and Ryzen were like going bonkers.
Yeah.
Holly Sue showed exactly why it was like one of the best cards out of Duelist Alliance. Like it was just completely dominating the competition in every feature match that I was able to see at least.
Hmm.
And although I know some people did expect it to win, uh, I didn't think that it was going to be so clear cut.
Yeah.
Especially without the K9 package. Like, I mean, I know we're going to have a hell of a lot more of a difficult time defeating it with K9s being added into it or the introduction into
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
format. But that's crazy to just think about that.
I agree, and I've been testing Vanquish Soul Canine because I have a lot of the Vanquish Soul cards, and I've been doing like proxies for the Canine stuff, and it is why, like, Vanquish Soul is the majority of the power. Like, the Canine stuff is like to help you go first, and like making Wolf is a pretty good way deterrent for people early on in the opponent's turn. But like the Vanquish Soul stuff took a lot of people by surprise, and one, it shouldn't be Holly Sue. Her name is always Holy Sue because that is a much better
Yeah, for
name.
real.
But I think that that card is how you that sh it's almost like Mathemax Circular where it's like that is how you print a card to bring a archetype up to relevancy. Like it is a super well designed card, I think, no matter what Nick says. Nick hates Vanquish Soul with a passion. But I think it's a well designed card because it's like, okay, now I get the chance to like do shit because we saw Vanquish Soul wasn't doing anything until Holly Sue came out. And I think that that like hit the nail on the head. That is the best card out of Duelist Advance, and one of the best cards to be released this year, and potentially will be released all year. Like it is a card that vaulted an archetype up to from not necessarily unplayability, but very difficult playability to tier one status, like undisputed now. Like EU did a good job of showing like Vanquish Soul is not going to go anywhere without a ban list. It is a very strong deck, and you have to pay attention to it.
Yeah, you have to respect it the second you see it for sure.
Yeah. Mhm.
I mean, speaking of, I guess we can kind of bring that into one of our topics. We have Justice Hunters releasing, uh, probably what is it? I think the first,
The
so
first,
I
yep,
think two
couple
days
days.
from, or
Mhm,
well, okay, a
mhm.
couple days from the release of this episode.
Yeah,
And I'm curious because we also have the reprints announced for the tins. We're starting to get them, I should say.
yep, yep.
And just today we were teased that we had Dominus Purge and Dominus Impulse both coming into the Megatins. So
Great.
is there anything else that you think the Megatins could hold? Because like we're gonna have Justice Hunters soon. So like there's things that that we could
Mhm.
use from past sets that would be able to help bolster that. Is there anything you think that we might be coming soon? Because I know some people are going to be thinking mall chummies in whatever way, shape, or
Yeah.
form, but I don't think that's going to be one of them at the very least.
Yeah, you and I talked about this before. I think that Perulia might be there's rumors that it's gonna be in there. I haven't seen any concrete proof, so we'll see. I think Perulia is a natural pick, and it would follow. People have said like, "Oh, it can't because it's already got a reprint." So did Triple Tactics Thrust. Like, there is precedent for Konami reprint a card twice within a couple months. Like, it's not unheard of. I do think it'll get unfortunately, it might get the Barone treatment where, like, once everybody has it, then it starts getting a target on its back, which would be annoying. But I'm really glad to see Purge and Impulse on there. I think those are two of the best, most well designed hand traps that have ever been kind of created. I think it shows like a big risk reward. It affects your deck building, and I think that the more players that have that, the game becomes less pay to win and more. Let's see if our talents can and our preparation can really see who's the better duelist versus I was able to pay for these cards, so I have a natural advantage. In
Yeah, and
terms
I
of
do like that.
other, yeah, I appreciate that. In terms of other reprints, I think that I want to see the Megatins do a better job of giving archetypes higher rarity stuff, and not just like I don't need another secret rare Bestial Rebellion. Like, you have that slot go to a deck that, like, has a card that hasn't been reprinted in a while or something that's really nice. Um,
Yeah,
I just
where's my
I
Cyber Dragon Veer?
Right. Like, give us that. Like, Core got a really good QCR. Like,
Yeah,
let's
Core
see
got
what else
everything.
can get it. I'm glad that they did, but it's like one card. Like, give me more of that. Give archetypes that are begging are playing cards that are rare or like common as like mainstays in their decks. Like, do a little bit of that. I think we'll also see um well, I actually before the announcements, I would have said that we would see more like Edison or Goat or other cards with some updated card text, but that's kind of out the window. I don't know if that'll happen just based on updated rules, but
Yeah,
I
yeah.
just hope the Megatins go back to what they used to be, where it was like the set that you looked forward to all year. And with Purge and Impulse, it's a good start. Let's see if Prulia gets in there. We talked about this. Meowls is not going to get in there because it's already been announced for a reprint in a product that's coming soon. So, hopefully we get more access to powerful cards so that the playing field's a little more level.
Yeah, yeah, I can see that. There's definitely I don't know why I feel like as soon as there's a anything that's not Malachemi in there, like that Fool Loss is gonna go up because right now Fool Loss is at a very very good like price.
Yep. Yep.
Like it's not like it's super crazy expensive, it's super accessible to everyone. But as soon as like something is not announced, like if we don't have another Fool
Yep.
Loss announcement, if we don't have another Perulia announcement in
Right.
there, I think it might go up. But like
Prulia is the big one.
oh yeah,
Like,
yeah,
if Cerulean
absolutely.
doesn't get announced for a reprint, that shit is going to $120 a copy.
No, no, it there's no other way. I mean, even
Yeah.
with the Ultra reprint, it's
Right.
like it's insanely high right now.
So
It's
expensive.
crazy. Yeah, but then even if you look at like the other cards from like other sets, like what are we gonna get? Another Malice reprint? I mean, we could
Yeah,
get like maybe Cyber Dragon Worm, you
could
know.
be. Yeah.
The Regenesis could probably get
The
reprinted.
Genesis I could see. The
Uh, what's
White
that
Forest is
spell
probably
card?
gonna get a bunch of reprints too.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, 100%. Because they love White Forest, especially after
Yep,
getting the
yep.
ulti fucking
Mhm.
Black Diabels.
Yeah.
So like you already know that they like to bless that.
Yep,
But
yep.
what's that one? What's the one fucking spell card? It's like
Uh,
fuck. It's like a main
Gordian
phase
Slicer?
one. Yeah, 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 yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yep,
Yeah,
yep,
that's another good one too. That one
yep.
could be in there. Because
Maze,
I'm just
Spellspan.
listing off cards I don't have.
Yeah,
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 I'll list
exactly.
another one.
That's why I'm like, I'm glad Impulse isn't purged because I don't have them, and I'm not gonna pay an arm and a leg for them because, the decks that I use don't run them, but they're good stuff to have. But yeah, I'm also thinking of, like, what are some other really good staples that have not been reprinted in a while? Like, if they print Ash again, I'm gonna be fucking pissed. Like, if you don't have Ash at this point and you're not a new player, you missed the boat. Like, you paying $10 a copy for them.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. For sure, for sure, for sure. I mean, I know these are things that are coming up in like they're being released now, so they won't be like in this tin. But like, I
Right.
really hope that at some point in time they start bringing cards like that in, or even
Yeah.
like what is it, the Gorgon Slicer? I need another fucking
Gordian
copy of that
Slicer,
shit.
yeah. Yep.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
need
yeah, yeah. I
three
hope they bring
copies of
that
that.
shit in
Yep.
too.
Mhm,
Yeah,
mhm.
absolutely. But you did say something earlier, which is going to lead us into one of our last kind of segment topics. The
Fucking
For the night, I
wild.
would just say. But Konami did announce to the player base a couple of things over the weekend. We're gonna start with the obvious one that we got first, which was the upcoming Forbidden and Limited list or a ban
Yeah.
list. Wouldn't be coming in the TCG until after the World season was done, which means from here until the end of August. I think it's like August 29th or something like that, or maybe it's
Yeah, I think
28th,
so.
but it's like end of August.
Yep, yep,
Until then, we are not going to get a list. We just so stop talking about it, stop clamoring, stop
yep,
with the ban list reactions, stop with the ban list wish list. We're not getting them yet. Start
yeah,
after Worlds. We'll probably get it early September. You know what I'm saying? Like be wary. It's just that's just what's happening.
yep,
I'm not too surprised if I'm being 100% blunt because I did expect the change for us to happen eventually.
yep,
Or like I just didn't think that it was gonna affect Worlds that much. The Worlds list usually doesn't affect us TCG players, and I know that
right.
if we ban certain things now, it would affect the Worlds list in the long run.
Mhm.
I just don't think that there's that much that we could have banned that like would be super much of a hindrance if they have an entire month to prepare, regardless of what it is. But it's neither here nor there for me. But like, what do you think about how they announced it? Like, what time they're announcing it for? Do you think they could have been sooner?
I think that if we had done it sooner, it's hard to say because of the product delay. I think that impacted a lot of,
Ooh,
like,
yeah, that
when they
too.
were gonna do the Forbidden Limited list. Because it's like, you're gonna announce a Forbidden Limited list when certain countries don't have access to a product that either might have cards in it or cards that are affected.
Ooh, that's a
Uh,
fair point.
but I also think because of power creep, like, there isn't a whole lot that has to I used to think, like, "Oh, we have to ban a bunch of shit because, like, Mitsurugi and, Malice
Nah,
were,
fuck
like,
Habakiri.
dominating."
Me and all the boys hate fucking Habakiri, dog. Fuck that nigga.
But, like, now, like, you saw the results, like, and not that results should dictate whether a ban list goes, but, like, they it's the new stuff that's getting pushed that's really doing well, and I think that the Forbidden Limitus won't change a whole lot. It also is like, Worlds is gonna be very fascinating because, like, some of the decks that a lot of especially the North American player like, this is the first time I think in a while that a Worlds list will not include one of the best decks in, North America or in,
Yeah.
the stateside because, like, OCG doesn't have Mitsurugi. Like, that's not an archetype that they have, and I'm curious, like, if they're like, "You just can't play it," and if it
Yeah, they
would
usually don't allow TCG exclusives in. It'll just be banned.
right, which is
You know what I'm saying?
fascinating
Yeah.
because it's like the arguably one of the best decks in one of the formats is just not able to be played, and I guess we think about that, like, Yummy probably won't be able to be played either.
Yeah. Oh no, I think they are making Justice Hunter legal. That
Oh,
came
okay.
in what I was gonna say that too. Yeah, Justice Hunter will be legal for Worlds. But yeah, I mean they are allowing it to be in because I think it's like a day or two past the extra cutoff point.
It's so wild
So
to and
yeah,
and,
so
like
they're all gonna have to learn Yummy.
Right, you have to learn Yummy against a group of people that have been playing it for, like, 6 months,
And Draco
and
Tales.
yeah, and Draco Tales and K9 and, like, it's always interesting to me how they decide what is going to be legal and what isn't. Um, I'm also curious, like, because of the Blue Eye structure deck, if we'll have a repeat of 2016 where it's like, we want Blue Eyes to, like, dominate, so let's figure it out a way that Blue Eyes is the only thing that's there. Um,
Yeah.
but I think that the Forbidden Limitless was it impacted a lot by the product delay. Um, I did think there was an interesting thing that happened to at EU, the NAW, the EU WCQ that I was like, "You cheeky bastards," to steal a phrase from Britain. Which I thought was like I appreciated them doing it. I was also like, "Y'all are lucky that you announced this thing because if you had done the list and then did this little bit, people would have been pissed."
Way more pissed than any of these other announcements that we got coming up
Yeah,
too,
yeah, for sure, for
because
sure.
they are something I do have a problem with, which
Mhm.
is one of the new announcements, is these new um rules and regulations that they put like on all of these players for no reason. They've just been coming out of the
Yeah.
woodwork with, oh yeah, by the way, we're not doing this. Oh yeah,
Yep.
just in case you didn't know, this isn't legal anymore.
Right.
We're not that's a no. We're not doing that.
Yeah.
So, and by this I mean the changes that they made recently to the Time Wizard format, uh, that they announced, and then the new time rules that apparently were supposed to take place for NA regionals, but has since been revoked. But for
Right.
the Time Wizard events, I don't know if people know what they did do was drop certain things that, what is it, like they couldn't, or they were going to go back to live text, so you couldn't go back to
Yeah.
that format's text.
Mhm.
um you had to play like up, so you had to play the updated cards, you had to play the
Yep.
updated time rules. They were going super crazy.
Yeah,
So
it was wild.
with that, the side deck, I think on Twitter had announced this. They were saying, "Good afternoon, players. Konami has informed us of a change in Time Wizard public events for regionals, basically because the side deck is one of the only Eastern companies to host
Yep.
these regionals and YCSs and stuff." They go on to say, prize support is no longer offered, so we're looking into appropriate pricing that we can offer so that you aren't just playing for entry packs only. We have no further information regarding this change, so you will have to contact Konami at whatever their email address is. The side deck is working on a way to support these formats to the best of our ability, but please be patient. Some regional events may not offer Time Wizard, and prizes may vary based on the rules and what the side deck has available. So, with that being said, it's just crazy to me to think that they would go off and not only correct something that they shouldn't have changed to begin with,
Mhm.
but then say, oh, yeah, by the way, we're cutting that off completely. Like, that it means that it seems like Konami is literally not supporting the OTSs, period. If they decide to
Right.
keep up this Edison past format shit alive, like they stated that the stores can still host the tournaments if they like. Like you can still go to your local tournament and sign up for Edison, but there will be no prize support coming from Konami's end if they decide to do so, which I think is just fucked up. You can go to your locals right now, pay $5 to get your one OTS pack, if you even get an OTS pack, because now you're getting an OTS pack that's designed for a modern player.
Mhm.
And to do what? To get store credit? I
Right.
mean, to not get anything at these side regional events. Like you go there, you used to get mats, you used to get deck boxes, exclusive mats too. By the way, there were Konami
Mhm.
official mats. Now that it's taking that all away, imagine the pressure of a local OTS to not only have to still find and maintain players for Edison and past formats, whatever Time Wizard formats, and bring business and traffic into the store, but also have to find decent enough prize support for those players to not shit on the store itself or blame the store in any way, shape, or form for what's about to come. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's just
Yeah.
crazy to me. Like, they would set these OTS stores up for failure like that. Yeah, you can still run the tournaments, but we're not going to give you shit for them. You better have your own shit. Like, bro, what?
Yeah. It's crazy. I and it's this I there's a realm that you can see where where Konami's coming from, where they're like, we can't our client can't like because this is all in effort to have Master Duel be one of the main platforms that people engage with Yu-Gi-Oh. Like it's on their shareholder minutes. They're like Master Duel has been a huge success. It's the most it like to give it credit, it is the most beautiful client to play, you know, Yu-Gi-Oh on, and like they want to I can imagine they want to expand Master Duel elsewhere, and because they want to do what they're calling time travel tournaments, which is like, you play with a specific, basically you're playing with a very specific card pool. You're not like, the rules are one of those things that made those formats so interesting and so not modern. Like you're basically just playing like these new rules are like you're just playing a modern format with fewer cards. It's like set rotation in a way. And like I get that that's what Konami might be pushing because it's easier for their client to handle. Like I can imagine there's a world where they don't have their argument is they might not have the capacity to build into Master Duel the ability to like have all these different rulings for the formats. I don't buy it. You're a multi-billion dollar company. Like you can definitely figure out a way to do it. For fuck's sakes, we have like free simulators that honor those rules, like that have Edison. And even
Yeah.
if you only pick a couple formats to really focus on the like really important ones, like Edison or Hat or Go, like people like those ones, but to just kind of pawn it off to the OTSs is like, we're not going to help you do this. You can still do it. Just don't let us find out about it. But also, you have to do this time travel format. Like, I'm not buying into that. And like, with these updated cards, like now there is now even less of an incentive to go back and get old school cards, and like their value is losing there because if I have to play with the updated rules text for these events, like I'm not gonna go out and get an older card that looks nice because the rules text is useless at this point.
Yeah. Why
Um,
bother?
why bother? And like prize support has continued and will continue to be a point of contention. Like Konami does this all the time where you take one step forward in offering those cards that are like really cool for prizes, three steps back. Now your local store can't offer prizing for like OTS packs and things like that without them having to take a loss for it. It's this, I just don't understand what the purpose was. And it was a rule that the community clearly got upset with, and Konami had to roll it back for one of their big tournaments. But like, what are people gonna like? What I think we'll notice is during these YCS and the big events, once people drop out of the main event, those halls are gonna get empty because people don't want to play the side events anymore.
Yeah.
Um,
Why? There's
while
no
it
need.
didn't, while it didn't make as much of a as much of a splash. I was listening to MBT's like his recap of the NAWCQ, and one of the formats that he loves is Rivalry of Warlords, which I also think is a really cool format. And they changed that format in a good and a bad way. So, like, I'm not sure if I don't know if you're familiar with Rivalry of Warlords and how the format
Yeah.
works.
Yeah.
Okay,
It's like the decks that they assign to you.
they assign you. And so they've been updating those decks, and one of the cool things they did was they started adding like a band card or two band cards to those decks. So like the Eldritch deck has Card of Safe Return in it. Which is like a
Oh,
cool
that's
concept to
lit.
like
That's
that's cool,
lit.
right? It
Yeah,
gives you a
that's lit.
chance as a player to like really experience what this deck could be like. But so that was a good step forward, but 3 steps back, they took away the pamphlet that told you how to play the deck. Like, they don't do those anymore.
Oh, about to say, so those players were just playing blind.
They're just playing blind, like, you don't know, like, they give you a deck list, and they give you a little
Oh.
kind of Master Duel-esque summary of, like, this is what this deck wants to do. It's like, spawn like Eldritch One brings out big monsters from the graveyard to destroy your opponent. It's like that's all you get. Whereas before it was like, hey, you've never played Starry Night.
Starlight.
Here's what they
Yeah.
do. Like that, and it sucks that they took that away because that's also a really good way to get new players into the game. Like, don't give me a deck that has a bunch of things I've never heard of before and be like, all right, figure it out. Like that's not how you get new players into the game. So it's just these like weird rules changes that they're doing that I'm like, again, a multi-billion dollar company that this game, you are the second or third most popular TCG, and you keep doing things that are screwing yourself up for it. It doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, man, they're aura farming the reverse. In
Right.
reverse. Like they're the villain.
They're
Their
de-aura
villain arc
farming.
is started.
Yeah. They're Dora farming.
Yo, Konami is in its villain era right now, and we're
It
all about
they
to
really
experience it.
are
Because
at
like
a time when we were like, "Yo, you're printing this cool stuff that we wanna play." Like, the formats are more diverse than they've ever been. Like, product is usually more available than it's ever been. Why are you making us eat shit right now?
multiple times. So there's not even like they just recently dropped the time rules thing, which was like we're making it so if the match isn't done within like the 45, 50 minutes, the result is like a double loss. Like if
Yeah,
there's no more playing past the timer, like there's no finishing your main phase, none of
extensions,
that.
yep.
If if you're in game two and one person has won, you guys both get double losses. Like the rules were like so crazy. And I
So
understand that
wild.
they need to like speed tournaments up. Don't get me wrong. I get the purpose or the
Right.
intent of these rules, but whoever's at the A&R, whoever's in Publix, or whoever's like dealing with this shit, the public relations or whatever,
Yeah.
those people are fucking high because
Yeah.
these are horrible ways to implement or fix these problems. These are going to make you lose players, money, and support faster than anything an outside source could have done. They are tearing their game apart from the inside. And I'm sitting on the outside looking back, watching it like, wow, Konami's really fucking up here. Like, I
Yeah.
don't know. They are just taking the cyanide pill. I
I
don't get it.
it is bizarre to me. It's I keep thinking about, like, the Master Duel, like, they want more players to play that, they want that to be their platform. But I'm also there's 2 things I think related to that I've been thinking about. One is, like, what you said, like, you're not just gonna drive players away, you're gonna drive your top players away because this affects them the most in a way as, like, these are players that are gonna that would have, if these rules were still in effect, had gotten losses when they shouldn't have. And they'll go to other card games. Like there was a really good Pirelli player, who I think it was Dinkum Fa,
Oh yeah,
who
Dinka.
yeah, Dinka, who is a Lorcana
Con,
world
yeah.
champion because like he's like I'm sick of Konami's like not doing what I want to do, and it's like your pro players will do that. Like they will if you do this kind of stuff, they'll run away. Um, but it also makes me think that like these policy changes, like the Edison one, these time rule ones, it makes me think that somebody at Konami is actually releasing this. This is total conspiracy theory, tinfoil hat thing. But like you said, like there is no way that you release this information without talking to the community first. And because the response, like we saw it with the time rules, people were so upset so quickly that they reversed the rules, like, the same day they released them. Like, it's just, like, you had to know that somebody was gonna be upset about that, which makes me think that somebody is leaking it so that under, like, official guise so that they can say, like, "I told you the player base was not gonna be happy with this." And,
Yeah.
like, sure, this might go through, and like you said, I get that you have to cut the tournaments, like, a little bit shorter, but there are other ways to do it, like, you have got to be better about there's got to be better ways.
I think I'm more mad. If I'm trying to look at it from like a personal standpoint, not being biased, I think I'm way more mad at the wishy-washiness than I am if they were to just stand 10 toes deep on it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like if
Yeah.
they were to just be like, you know what? Fuck y'all Edison players. We don't give a fuck about y'all. Go do your own shit.
Yep.
I would, you all right, cool. We don't gotta like it, but I can at least respect it that they're telling
Right.
it. Not this whole you're doing it. You know what, guys? I think we're gonna start doing this, and then if you guys don't like it, I mean, I guess we can take it back. You're like, no, bro. Like, if y'all don't make this horrible ass decision, y'all better fucking stand on it. Like, why are we
Right.
making announcements and taking them back within the same day?
Same day. There is a glaring, omission that Konami has in their staff, and they don't have a community manager. Like, they don't have a person or a team that can field these things like, "Hey, this was an idea that's been posed, like, what does the community think about it?" Like, the you have to have a group of people that especially if you want the game to continue and wanna keep making money off of it, you have to talk to people. Like, I'm remiss to bring it up, but Magic does have community managers, and I think a while ago they had asked about like what are some like they have this thing called Universes Beyond, which essentially like they bring other games into their card game, and they're like, what are some things that you're interested in? And a while ago, people said like all these ideas. I think it was like a Google form or some shit like that. And now we're seeing the fruits of that for Magic, where they did a Final Fantasy collaboration, and that shit made $200 million in a day.
Yeah.
And like, not that it's like, I don't think that that's like it might not be necessarily the best thing because those products are really expensive, but they have community managers that can like run this shit by them. They have this group of people that their job is to listen to what people say and bring it back to the higher ups. Whether or not they do it is fine, but Konami just doesn't have that. Like our closest person is Jerome and Billy Brake, who work for Konami
And I hate
and
Billy.
don't they don't have a space to do it. They don't have space to talk about it. Like they're commentators or they're like fun people to engage with that talk about um like new cards, but like that's it. We don't really have a it's like a daddy mommy Konami gives us what we get, and that's the best that we can do. This is only now that they're starting to listen to the community because the community's in such an uproar about some of these things. Again, like you want the tournaments to go short to not go as long. I get it. You got to plan them better. Like there's got to be other ways to do it. You know, cut the rounds a bit short, like have fewer rounds or do it have like day 2 be a longer day. Like I don't know, it just feels like there's this was not the route to do it, and certainly not giving people losses. Like at the very least do a draw. Like I'm not opposed to having longer time limits and not giving extension, but like this is not the way to do it.
No, I agree. This is just piss poor fucking marketing. This is piss poor fucking planning.
Yeah.
It's just absolute ass. I'm just not. I'm not happy. I'm not even affected by these fucking rules, and
Right.
I'm not happy for them. You know what I'm saying? Like that's
Yeah.
craziness. I don't go into time ever. I mean, if I do, it's my opponent. I don't. I'm not the
Right.
reason. I
Yeah.
know what my fucking cards do, but like
Exactly. I'm
it.
yeah, same
That's just
thing.
ass. You're telling me I get to lose because my opponent just says, you know what? We're both going. If I don't win, neither of us are winning.
Yeah,
You know
and it's also like, you know,
that's good
the
sportsmanship.
some of the best games that I've played are like, you know, a 20, 25, 30-minute game 1 where you're like back and forth and really duking it out. And this rules doesn't incentivize me to do that. I'm like, I either need to play super fast and tell them to play super fast and get really kind of toxic with it,
I need to
or I
be an
scoop super
asshole or
early. Like
scoop.
I don't want, yeah, exactly. I don't want to be an asshole, especially against a newer player. But it's like if the alternative is I get 50 minutes to win to do 3 games, and if by a minute 45 it's game 2, I'm incentivized to scoop so that I don't risk both of us losing because that's going to hurt both of our records. Um, it just feels like this was made by somebody whose only goal was to shorten the tournament without thinking about the long-term effects of like how the community would be
Yeah,
impacted.
it's
Because
almost like people who are planning these things don't know shit about the game. It's it's
right,
it's ironic, right?
yeah, it's like you have, and it's so fascinating because I can imagine there's a section of Konami that's like their R&D department for the ban list is likely super intelligent and super into the game because they know exactly what can come off without having issues and what like they've as much as we, criticize them for not putting cards on, they've been very good aside from one instance of taking cards off and not having to put it back on. Like or
Yeah.
two, I guess. Snatch Steal and then Imperial Order. Um, but I also think that like this move also made the people that are spokespeople for their game, like YouTubers, looked foolish because all of them put out videos to talk about it, and then they immediately rescinded it. And it's like now all of them either have to take that video down or put as a comment that's a pinned comment like, "Hey, by the way, Konami changed this, so
Yeah,
this
by the
video is
way,
useless
they
now."
were pussies and they changed their minds.
And just like you did not do a good job of supporting your community and supporting the content creators that make your game what you want them to be. I just don't understand it. It's very strange.
It is. And I hope them well. You know what I'm saying? Someone needs to fucking step in and take hold because
Right.
whoever's doing it right now needs to be taken out back and shot in the head. They need to Lenny that motherfucker. we
Definitely
we
do
need to start Lennying these niggas, though. That's what it is. We need
it.
to start taking them out because they fucking shit up for the rest of us.
uh,
but
crazy,
but with
crazy.
that being said, we're starting to run out of time, guys. Just a reminder to everyone of all the sponsored content above. You know what I'm saying? Go to the Linktree link. It's down in the description. You can follow all the sites. You follow, it means we start doing giveaways, which means you as a listener get free shit for no reason but listening to and supporting the best TCG podcast you ever heard. Make sure you go to Energy Drink City. if you drink energy drinks, to go get yourself your own bundles. You can use promo code Player X for 10% off your order. So be sure to use that. Not only helps us out, but it helps you out because you're now getting shit shipped right to your front door without even having to like go out to the store, get it, and you get it cheaper. So, and also be sure to go check out Unplugged Gaming in Manlius, New York, their Discord server, to be able to be a part of all the TCG communities. I just want to thank Mel for coming out one last time and chit chat with us for well over an hour. I definitely told him we'd be here for an hour. We've been going back and forth for a while. Are there any other like final thoughts or closing statements that you want to like leave out with, or any like shout outs or anything like that you want to leave the people with before we leave?
Shout out to you and for setting this up and having me out here. I always appreciate longer podcasts because I have longer commutes. So it was probably me that pushed it a little too long. I am a bit of a chatterbox.
Oh
but
no, I love it. I love it.
Yeah,
I feel sometimes like I'm taking up other people's times.
No,
like
you are never taking up my time. You like a close friend of mine.
You guys heard it here. I'm never taking it up. So when I call him at 3 o'clock in the morning, he has to answer because
I'm gonna wake up. Mel's gonna yell at you, and Maddie's gonna yell at you. But I'll be like,
Maddie's not gonna yell. Maddie's not. She's used to that. I'd be screaming up at 3 o'clock in the morning at the computer for random dumb shit anyway, playing Fortnite or like Yugioh. Yeah, dead ass. I'd be screaming at the computer at all hours of the night.
It's nothing. This on me.
If anything, she's gonna be like, "All right, he's having another episode. I'm going back to bed."
Like, this is what I expect. If he's quiet, I gotta think.
Absolutely. We got to shout out once again. Shout out to the girls because they're just the best. I appreciate all they bring into both of our lives and all that stuff. So with that being said, guys, we are all out of life points. The meter has officially hit 0. Thank you, Mel, for coming out. Thank you guys for listening. And with that being said, I am Player X, and you have been listening to the Semi Limited Podcast. Thank you and good night.